All right. Hey there, audio friends. Welcome back to the channel. MrAyrit here, and I have my all-time favorite closed back headphone for you today. So this is, if you caught it a couple weeks ago, I did an interview with John from JM Audio Editions, and it was basically a conversation that this headphone started. This is his XTC Closed. All right. Now, what makes this a little bit difficult to review is these headphones through him are pretty much like a custom job, right? There's so many different options that you can get. So it's going to be difficult for me to really put out a review that's going to be like perfectly matched up to maybe what your experience is going to be when you get your set of XTC headphones. Okay. But the coolest thing about all of this, and the reason why I'm very confident that I can recommend these headphones, is one, they're fantastic, but two, when you buy these, even if you buy them on the used market, John will retune them for free for life. Okay? So that's pretty special. I don't know of any other headphone company that does this. And and I'll go into details about mine here in a little bit, but what I can tell you though with that is that it's almost like an insurance policy for headphones, right? Because especially with closed back headphones, I think you just don't know what they're going to sound like. And with any headphone really, but specifically I think closed backs are just, it's harder to find the ones that, at least for me, it's been more difficult for me to find a set that I like really love in a closed back. It's easier to find open headphones that I really like. Closed ones are a little bit tougher. Although I've reviewed several above $1,000, $2,000 closed back headphones, I never felt that any of them like just matched me perfectly, right? I never kept any of them that I had, and so that these guys, that's where these guys come in, and that retuning option comes in. So fantastic in that regard. So let's talk about just some of the options that you can get with these, and we'll do accessories first just so I can clean my desk up here, and then we'll talk about like what you can get with the actual headphones here. So first off, we got cables here. You can see I've got 3 different cables that I got with mine. One of them was a 4.4. It's a 3.5 millimeter connector. Way to go, John. That's perfect. That's what all headphones should be. I've got one that terminates in 3.5, and these are very similar, cables as far as this goes. And then I've got this thicker cloth woven cable that finishes in 3.5 as well with a 1/4 inch adapter, right? So all the cables I thought were perfectly adequate. Again, you just have to look at like what options are available, but I'm quite happy with all of these cables and using them. I've used all of them on throughout my couple months that I've owned these, and no problems with any of the cables. Okay, so I'm gonna set those aside. And then the next thing we'll talk about is the case, because you get a really nice hard case with them, right? Maybe not quite as nice as like a ZMF, or I had, what did I have here recently? I'm totally blanking on it. Rad Zero, there it is, the Rad Zero. That had a really nice Pelican case too. This is still nice. I mean, it's going to do the job, but it's maybe just not quite top tier quality like those other ones, but still super, super nice, super robust. I wouldn't be worried about carrying them in this or shipping them in this or anything like that. No problems there. Now, the other thing is pad options. And so the pads that I really like for me, for comfort and for sound, were these kind of like pleather outside, and then they're like a furry velour inside, and they are super comfortable. And like I said, same for sound. Like these fit the sound preference for me as well. But these are all the ones that came with it. Okay, there's perforated, there's solid on the outside, perforated inside, angled. We got these ones are just kind of angled solid pleather there. And then I've got another set, and I think these ones are sheepskins actually, and those are angled as well. So lots of different pad options too that you can go through. And again, it's a tuning process, right? Like you go through the ones you want, and then you'll land on what you like comfort wise and sound wise. Okay, so lots of pad options to go through. And John, I'm not going to go through the sound with each of the pads. It's just too much. But, John is a super helpful guy. I'm sure that he would, he'll walk you through it with him, Okay, so now let's start talking about just options for the headphones themselves. And so when you go to purchase these, you can choose there's a couple different driver size options. There's a couple of different cup size options. There's different cup styles. So mine are just like the painted black, but there's like different wood grains and again, different sizes of that. There are, with the drivers, you can pick whether you want a 32 ohm, a 64 ohm, or a 300 ohm driver as well. Mine are the 64 ohms. Which when I first got them, I was like, I kind of wish I had the 300 ohm, just play with tubes and amps and whatever. But since I've had these, I'm really actually glad that I got the 64 ohm because I've been using them with my BTR7. They work great with that. I've been using them straight out of my Xbox controller, and they work great for that. And they're a surprisingly good gaming headphone too. So it's just really, really nice that you can fine-tune them and get them set up for your specific situation. And that's, again, you talk to John about that, and he'll go back and forth with you on what options, are good, what equipment you're using, things like that. Really, really good with all that stuff, okay? Then, on top of all of those different options, he will go through and tune them how you want them to be tuned. So when I got mine, basically what happened was I was like, oh, they're pretty good. I thought they were pretty good, but I was going to put them up for sale. And then when I put them up for sale, John got in touch with me and he was like, hey, that I'll retune those for free. And I was like, oh, really? Well, if that's the case, this is what I would like. And so basically what I told him was I liked the bass. I liked everything. Detail-wise, the only thing that I said was that I wish the mids were just a little bit warmer. I wish there was just a smidge more warmth in the mids. Okay, so send them in, couple weeks turnaround time, sends them back. You cover shipping cost for that, but again, he doesn't charge you for the tuning. And then now you can see on my little card that I got back with him is, he's got a nice little letter here. He goes through all of the things that he's done with them, so all the specs for them, and then you can see that mine here are warm and detailed. Is the tuning that he cites for this. Okay? And then he's got a little more information on here on how you can tune that even further with covering up some ports and things like that. So again, it's just lots and lots and lots of different options there. And then he sends you, a little playlist, stuff that he can do. So just, it's a really nice experience working with John, on all this. And again, so all that's really cool, but then we get to the actual headphone here. So what I would say is the one gripe, that I had with these when I first got them was my yokes were really loose and they were just kind of flopping around, and I was like, they felt cheap, right? But then once he got them back, he tightened everything up and got them set so they kind of lock into place here, and they feel much better now. They still, when you pick them up, especially if you're used to I was coming from ZMF headphones when I had O-Tours and Verite Opens when I had these as well, and it's ZMS are tanks. Like, they're big, beefy, solid metal, solid wood, all that. These guys, they don't feel as robust. And initially that was a downer for me, but then, especially once I got them back and I started gaming with them, and I was really into Diablo 4, like, when I was listening to these, and I had some pretty long sessions, right? Like 4 or 5 hour sessions where I was gaming. But these are so lightweight. And with these fuzzy pads on them that are here, they are so comfortable. They are easily an all-day headphone. Like, way more comfortable than almost any other headphone I've tried. Like, up there with the most comfortable headphones I've tried. So when initially I felt like, I wish it was a little bit more solid feeling, after I was able to wear them for like hours at a time and didn't get any fatigue from them, I was like, okay, maybe this is the way to go, is to do lighter weight. You don't need to, a headphone doesn't need to be a tank, or shouldn't be, right? Whereas initially I thought they felt kind of cheap, now I'm like, I'm so glad that they are lighter weight and that comfortable. So it was initially a downside for me, but now I actually see it as a plus, if that makes any sense. Okay, so what's the build like? Well, it's metal. I mean, it's metal and wood, but again, the metal isn't like as heavy duty as some other headphones that you might have encountered. Nice leather headband strap here, suspension strap. Not a lot of give there, but again, it doesn't need it. It's super comfy the way it is. All right, so I probably talked everything but the sound to death at this point. So let's talk sound here. Well, so with my warm and detailed tuning, bass is not, I wouldn't say it's like super defined, but I would say it's super enjoyable. So it's just got a nice organic, feel to it. It's very filling bass, plenty of it, powerful without being overbearing. It doesn't have as much texture as maybe, like some planar magnetics and things like that I've heard. So it's not the most technical bass presentation, although I think you can get that if you want it. But mine's a little bit on the warmer, more organic end of things. And that's perfectly fine with me. That's what I wanted, honestly. Okay? Mids, since they got that little warm tune to them, they sound so natural. This headphone, for being a closed back headphone, it sounds so open and natural. It doesn't sound closed off or weird or reverberant or any, you know what I mean? Like, there's none of those weird closed back qualities to this. It sounds like an open headphone. Isolation is okay. It's not the most isolating headphone, but that's fine. And then with the detailed part of the tuning, I feel like the clarity of the mids and the treble is phenomenal. Like, it is up there with some of the best headphones I've heard. Certainly up there with any closed back that I've heard. And that includes like MrAyrit Lyric, a couple of ZMFs. That includes Stelias. I wouldn't want any more information in those areas because these guys are already super revealing, and although most things sound really, really good on them, like, I don't feel like they're genre specific or anything like that. They do, like, a bad recording, like, you hear it, like you can hear everything, right? So it's just very, very detailed. John even said, like, he's working with the manufacturer of these pads to get them without the material over the driver. So he said if I wanted to, I could cut out that material and get like even more, clarity and detail coming out of it. And I was like, I don't. They already show me the bad parts of songs. Like, I don't want any more. So I think it's nailed it on that end. And again, because that's so well presented with these, just spatial information is really, really good. Really good separation and really good imaging too. And fairly wide, honestly. So again, doesn't sound closed at all. So with them tuned as they are, like, I'm just perfectly happy with these guys. like I said, best closebacks I've heard, in my opinion. And I think you're almost guaranteed to get something that you like with these JM XTC headphones, because you have so many options. You can get them retuned. John knows what he's doing. That dude knows how to tune a headphone. So I just think it's a pretty safe bet in a world where, like, so much of this I feel like is subjective. I feel like this is a case where I can recommend a headphone, and through you going through the process with John, even if the first round you don't get exactly what you want, you'll be able to get it retuned and you'll be able to get there, right? Like, I'm fairly confident that you'll be able to get there. I just have a lot of confidence in John, and he's been great to work with for me, and I think you'll be happy, right? I think you'll be happy. Now, with all that being said, right, he has given me, you know, a little bit of preferential treatment because I was doing reviews. So he gave me some extra pads and stuff to try out and things like that. So he, for me, like, we do have a working relationship. So just take that, you know, understand that when you're watching this review, that, you know, he's treated me real well when it comes to this. But I don't think, that's not to say you won't get great treatment either too, because I think you will for sure. And so with that being said, you know, I'll link to John's website down below if you want to check these out. I'll link to the interview that I did with him, which, if you're interested, you should definitely go listen to that too. You'll get a little bit more of a feel for what he's all about. But just a great experience working with him, and a fantastic headphone. I couldn't recommend it more. And so I think right now, if you buy these, I mean, they're right around $1,000. But again, like I said, I've heard closed back headphones that are twice this much, you know. I've heard open back headphones that are twice as much that I don't like as much as these. So I really think that you have a good chance of getting something that you're really gonna love here. With one of these XTCs. He has an open version too, which he says sounds phenomenal too. Hopefully I'll have a chance to try that one out as well. Haven't had a chance yet, but, you know, hopefully sometime in the future. So definitely check out that interview, check out his website. You know, let me know if you've had these or if you're planning on getting them. I'd be very curious to hear your opinions working with John. If you had him make some for you, you know, share all that stuff down below. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found it useful, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.